All right. Oh, we've got one more supervisor coming in here. We'll let Supervisor Kinner get to his seat. He's got, he's only going to make the meeting. If he makes it, he's got a couple oh, he didn't quite make it. I thought he was going to make it before 6:01. Okay, going to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and opening prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear wise and loving Father, thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here tonight. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for our health, our families, our freedom. Thank you for the call to serve on this board, for the opportunity to be involved in useful work and the honor of this responsibility. Thank you for loving us. Grant us the wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, the ability to listen with an open mind and to work together in harmony, even when there is honest disagreement. Guide us tonight in the matters at hand. It is in your most blessed name that we pray. Amen.
Okay, roll call.
One absent, Mr. Massler.
Yes.
And he's on video, I'm sorry, yes.
Oh, he's on video from the Lawrence Welk Theater or what? Okay, apparently it was such a happening time down there in Branson. I didn't know there were any of those people still alive, but anyway, I need the agenda that you have before you. I'm going to make one adjustment to that. I'm going to move item 12A, resolution honoring Linda and Joe Prebick. I am going to move that to immediately after citizens input. So with that correction, would ask for a motion to approve the agenda. Supervisor Wagner, seconded by Supervisor Romden. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Previous minutes from the previous county board meeting, which you should have reviewed, would look for a motion to approve that. Supervisor Swaggle, seconded from Supervisor Lukes. Discussion, corrections, any problems on those? Nothing? Okay. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I don't think that's ever happened. No corrections on minutes? I don't know. All right, moving on. Citizens input.
Yes, there were 6 letters that were sent to me, and they're all on your desks for review. And then I do have one person signed up, so I will read. The board will hear concerns members of the public wish to raise, but will not discuss or take action on any matter until the matter can be placed on an agenda with proper notice to the public. The board welcomes citizens to present their concerns to the board in a professional manner relevant to issues affecting Kewaunee County. Each citizen may take 3 minutes to present their concern, and the board has allotted a total of 20 minutes for this portion of the meeting. Please be mindful, the board may halt any disruptive comments and any comments that are threatening, vulgar, or abusive. Amber Hewitt. For short people, I'm sorry. This down just a little bit more. There we go. How does that work? Okay. So as Jamie mentioned, there's some letters there in front of you guys on support of the KCEDCs and your guys' approval of the budget that continues to fund us. As you can tell, in the past, the KCEDC has been a strong partner, not only with the county, but also with private businesses within our county. And somewhere along the lines around 2017, there was a rift that happened that caused the KCEDC to change leadership in our executive director. We hired Mr. Richard Baker, and earlier this year, the KCEDC Board of Directors realized that Mr. Baker was not a good fit for our county. So we are now currently in the search again for a new executive director. I don't have to remind you guys or tell you guys that 2020 has been a challenging year for all of us, especially businesses and small businesses within our county. 2020 has taken the box that we've all been very comfortable in, shaken it up and handed it back to us and said, put the pieces back together. KCEDC isn't sure how to make those pieces go back together though. We don't know if we need to focus on business development, startup, entrepreneurship, Main Street, workforce. We just simply don't know where it is our energy should be focused on. With that being said, we have two top priorities for 2021. One, hire an executive director that is better aligned to our county and that can get stuff done for our county. And two, to pull everybody together. The county, our towns, our villages, cities within our town or within our county, businesses, farmers, key influential people within our county to put together a comprehensive county-wide strategic plan for our economic development. We can't do this alone though. We need the support of the county board and all of the other investors that have put forth to KCEDC so far. I will leave with this. We have to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. And if it's not KCEDC doing it, who's going to do it? Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? Anyone else wish to speak? Anyone else wish to speak? We will move on to 12A, Resolution 12A, which you have before you. We're going to do that out of respect for the time of the individuals, Linda and Joe Prebick. I would look for a motion from
Approve.
Supervisor Wagner.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve, seconded by Supervisor Romden. We should probably have these folks stand up and recognize them under discussion here. All right, thank you very much. Yes.
A resolution honoring Linda and Joe Prebeck. To the Honorable Kewaunee County Board of Supervisors, whereas Linda and Joe Prebeck of Kewaunee have been named to the 2020 Wisconsin 4-H Hall of Fame for their 4 decades of work with Kewaunee County 4-H and the Wisconsin 4-H Horse Association. And whereas the Prebecks have spent countless hours sharing their knowledge, building leadership, promoting sportsmanship, mentoring, and developing welcoming environments for youth and adults through Kewaunee County and Wisconsin 4-H. They are compassionate, team-oriented, generous, dedicated, and most importantly, youth-focused. Volunteers readily seek them out for their guidance and expertise. They help other adult volunteers develop educational experiences, work through conflict, and plan youth-focused activities. And whereas Linda and Joe Prebeck each served as Kewaunee County 4-H volunteers, State 4-H Horse Association directors, and officers during the early development of the Wisconsin 4-H horse program and continue to provide key leadership supporting its growth and success. And whereas Linda has served as executive secretary since 1997 of the Wisconsin 4-H horse program, handling responsibilities that helped the Wisconsin 4-H Horse Expo grow to almost 1,000 youth participants at its peak. And whereas the Prebecks have been integral in the development of statewide events and multiple educational events, including the area animal science days for the last 25 years, serving as officials and instructors for the multi-county youth audiences. And whereas the Prebecks have coached Kewaunee County youth in educational activities, including hippology, horse bowl, judging, and public speaking. Many of these youth mentees went on to be a part of 4-H state, regional and national educational competitions. Many of the 4-Hers with whom they worked have furthered their education and now have successful careers, applying the skills learned from their days with coaches Linda and Joe. And whereas the Prebecks assisted with the regional and national 4-H competitive horse events, teaching 4-H volunteers, judging, and training new judges. Whereas in 2000, the Prebecks founded the 4-H used tax sale, and thousands of dollars have been raised to support educational events for the 4-H horse program. And for over 40 years, Linda and Joe have truly made a profound positive impact on the youth of Kewaunee County and beyond through their noble efforts in the 4-H horse program. Now therefore be it resolved by the Kewaunee County Board of Supervisors, duly assembled this 10th day of November, 2020, that the board hereby conveys its deepest gratitude to Linda and Joe Prebeck for their distinguished and dedicated service to the citizens of Kewaunee County and honors them on their well-deserved induction into the Wisconsin 4-H Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Any further discussion, comments? All right, quite an achievement. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Did you wish to speak? No, sure. It's not citizens' input, but we'll definitely allow it.
I wanted to thank you all for your time and for this honor. Joe and I have lived in Kewaunee County all of our lives, except for a short time when he was in the service, and Kewaunee was still our home at that time. These accomplishments that we made through 4-H were not done in a vacuum. And I want to tell you that we're here to thank the county board, because anytime we had a situation where we said, how are we going to make this happen in Kewaunee? We went to the county board, and the county board said, what can we do to help? How can we help you make this become a reality? So we want to thank you for the honor, but we're also here to thank you for being representatives of Kewaunee and being a caring board that really looks at what's best for the county. Thank you all.
Thank you. All right, moving on to reports. County Administrator, do you have a report this evening? Committee reports. Highway, solid waste. Mr. Mastler's not here, but I'm sure there are other members if there are any questions on the minutes from that meeting, those meetings. Executive Committee. There was further discussion last night on the help desk specialist taking on GIS responsibilities. And that's an ongoing discussion that's going to be combining a position. So the executive committee still has further work to do on that. And I'm confident that we'll be able to get that accomplished in either December or January. Any questions on executive committee? All right. Public health and veterans. Any questions there? Public health, is Cindy here? Where? Oh, okay. Sorry, Supervisor Romden's blocking you out. Did you have anything to report on COVID at this time? It seems to me there's still a lot going on, and
I can give you a brief update. Can everyone hear me? Okay. So as of today, our numbers were 1,352 positives in the county. We have 114 active cases and 1,225 have been cleared. So our numbers have risen significantly over the last month. Our deaths have also risen. So we are now at 13 deaths in the county. We took a pretty big hit the last couple of weeks, and I was going to talk about that. So we've had a few outbreaks in the county that were quite significant. Our CBRFs, which are community-based residential facilities or assisted livings, have had significant cases. And so we had actually 5 deaths in one facility, which is quite significant. But we have currently 3 facilities that have outbreaks, and then we also have a small outbreak in one of our skilled nursing facilities, which is a nursing home. So those numbers are being carefully watched. Those facilities are being worked with on a daily basis to make sure that those numbers start to come down. Whenever we work with these facilities, if they test positive, whether that be staff or whether that be residents, the minute that they are identified with a positive case, the entire facility does get tested. So we're doing regular testing in those facilities, and they are tested at least
at least in the CBRFs. They're tested once a week, every week until they have 0 cases. Our skilled nursing facilities fall into a slightly different category in the state. So they are watched over by our HERC, which is our Hospital Emergency Response Network. And they monitor how many times you test in a facility. And because our overall numbers statewide right now are very high, the entire Northeast region of Wisconsin is at twice a week testing. Those facilities, our skilled nursing facilities, have been given their own testing systems so they can run tests right within their facility and run the results so that they know in a matter of minutes who's positive and who's not within their staff and their residents. As far as our schools, our numbers have stayed relatively low in the schools, and we're happy to see that. Our parochial schools are pretty much in check. This week, I have not had really any calls from the parochials. As far as the public schools, all 3 public schools are in session, in-person session, with Kewaunee doing somewhat of a modified thing where they have one group out, and I think it's 2 groups in that do. So one group is doing virtual, 2 come, and then they do a rotation, if I'm not mistaken. So, but all of them are in person right now. Questions on any of the outbreaks or the number changes that you've seen since I last spoke to you?
I assume that in the CBRFs and all of these facilities, it obviously, I would presume, comes in through workers. Is that correct?
For the most part, some of the residents are allowed out for appointments, so they can go to medical appointments, dental appointments, that kind of thing. Right now, I don't believe any of them are allowing visitation with the high numbers and the outbreaks that we have seen. We're hoping to resume that in the near future if we can get those numbers back down. But for the most part, I would agree with you that I'm guessing it's coming in from workers. And remember, a lot of the workers that work in these facilities are younger and may be asymptomatic going into the place, but then, of course, that affects our seniors a little bit differently.
So my next question would be then, I don't really I have no idea, how do you prevent that? I mean, other than locking down the workers and making them stay in the facility round the clock, which I think is going to be a hard time you're going to have difficulty recruiting people for that. I don't, what steps can be taken?
As far as asymptomatic people, that's very difficult. But if we do have people who have any kind of symptom at all, we're really encouraging them to stay home. So if a facility has someone who says, hey, you know what, I'm kind of stuffed up today, and they're super short-staffed, they may be telling that person to work, and a day later, we have a positive COVID test out of that. So those are the kind of things that we're really trying to reiterate and re-educate those facilities on, as please keep everyone with any kind of symptom out and really make sure that you're following your PPE to the letter, because that's what's really going to make a difference. And then we also just, in that kind of facility, remember, we also do compassionate care. So compassionate care is if an individual is near death or dying actively, those families are allowed in the facility. So you do have outside people coming in, that can have something.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you. UW Extension, any questions? Land and Water Committee. Yes, sir. Supervisor Wagner.
We had a meeting this morning, and in the course of the meeting, we discussed a project that's been advertised across the county for over a year already. And it was our well test program that the, that the Land and Water Department runs. We moved the date for this around various times of the year because we don't want people to test their wells always at the same time, and we encourage people to test them. I always tell people, try to test your well every 14 or 15 months, because that way you're rotating through different seasons of the year. Some people think, well, test it once and then they don't ever test it again, and that's not really good. But the point I want to make here is that we applied for and were given the opportunity to have up to 150 well tests. As I said, we advertised this for almost a year. We had 39 people take advantage of it. 39. If any of you have come to any land and water meetings, not so much here now since COVID, but prior to this, we used to have our meetings in that room over there. And at times it was so full, we had to move it to the 4-H room. And at times that room was overflowing, was packed with people. And the majority of them were there to complain and scream about our water problems in the county. You would think some of these people would want to test their well. And I'm at a loss for words as to how we can have those people get their wells tested. I hear the same story all the time, and I would hopefully make this very, very clear to everybody here and anybody that's listening. No one, not the DNR, DATCAP, the county, nobody can make you cap your well and drill a new well. Nobody can make you put a reverse osmosis system on your well if it tests positive for nitrates. No one can make you put anything on your well, and no one can make you shut your well down. That is personal property, and you are totally in control of that. So I hear a lot of times, well, if my well tests bad, somebody's going to tell me to shut it, cap it. I'm going to have to go through a lot of expense and everything else. No, you're not. It's just, yeah. And I don't know how we get this word out here. I've been working on this issue for 19 years now. 19 years. 2001, when my granddaughter was born, is when I first became aware of the water problems. 19 years. And we still have things like we advertise all over the place for well tests, and out of 150 tests, we get 39 people. And one of them was me, so let's say 38. That's a shame. That's just a shame. The other thing is, we've had a group in the county now, Peninsula Pride Farms. This is a group of farmers. This is farmer-led. They have had a program where if someone has a well that tests positive for E. coli coliform bacteria, and so they can't drink the water, they will supply water, clean water, to that person for up to 6 months. They also have, I believe, some cost sharing to assist this person in trying to fix their problems. As of today, and talking with, we've got board members of Peninsula Pride Farms on our Land and Water Committee. They haven't had anybody take advantage of that for a couple of years. I mean, this is ridiculous. I don't understand. I mean, all of this assistance, but yet every month we'll have people come in here and scream bloody murder that we're not doing anything to help the situation. I was at a field day that Peninsula Pride Farms put on last week. It was a gorgeous day. It started with free lunch, burgers, cheeseburgers, brats, cheddar brats, bags of chips, cookies, soda, water. Started with that and conversation. It was a fabulous day. Then we got into a tram and rode around and looked at how different applications of manure could be done on different fields, and learning about these processes that the farmers are trying to do to improve the situation in the county. There were 17 people, I think, there, and myself and one other person were non-ag related people. The other person was a neighbor of the person that had the farm that was having the show. I mean, I don't know what we have to do. We bribed them with good food, free food, and they still didn't show up. This is ridiculous. Anybody's got any other questions on land and water? But I just wanted to make this board aware. We talk about these things. It's in our minutes all the time when we're going to have these well tests. Next year's already been planned. I think it's October. I think it was in October. I'd have to, anyway, but you'll see it. It's in the minutes. It'll be in minutes from now until next year. And, you know, please get the word out to these people, to anybody.
Any questions for Supervisor Wagner, Land and Water? Thank you. We appreciate your efforts. Keep at it. Public Safety and Justice. Any questions? Finance and Public Property. Anything? Human Services. Parks Promotion and Maintenance. Business Development Loan Fund Committee. KCEDC. Already kind of had a report. Broadband Study Committee. Public Safety Facility Study Committee. They're still waiting for information, of course, so there'll be more coming on that eventually. All right, first reading of ordinance. There are none, correct?
Correct.
Consideration of resolutions. Resolution, we've already taken care of 12A, 12B.
A resolution approving racetrack lease agreement, KCRA, Kewaunee County Racing Association LLC. Fiscal impact statement, county to receive rent is described in the agreement, generally $1,500 per race.
Do we have a motion?
I'll move.
Who was that? Supervisor Vollenweider. Second, Supervisor Swagel. Discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next resolution.
A resolution approving lease of Walter Quarry site to Bug Tussle Wireless for communications tower. Fiscal impact statement, $325 per month, annual increases of 2%.
We have a motion. Supervisor Haskey, seconded by Supervisor Augustine. Discussion. Supervisor Swagel.
Is this extra than the 7 they had talked about earlier?
This is one of the sites they identified as to where they want to put up a tower. This is going to be that large hill just south of Stangleville. It will be on the west side of the road on our quarry property,
County property.
county property.
All right, thank you, sir.
And money coming into the county.
That's correct.
So we'll be getting rent.
You're smiling, Chairman.
Anytime money is coming in and not going out, I'm smiling. Yes. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next resolution, please.
A resolution authorizing broadband expansion grant, application partnership with Hilbert Communications LLC.
This is the resolution that's on your desk. We included the wrong one in your packet, so this is the one on your desk.
Is there a motion? Supervisor Wagner,
Motion to approve.
is there a second? Second by Supervisor Poppy. I would assume there are questions. Maybe I assumed wrong. Supervisor Swagel.
Thank you, sir. What is Hilbert binding
But
with Bug Tussle? How is this? What?
do you want to give somebody who wants to give an explanation on this?
Hilbert Communications is the parent company of Bug Tussle and a few other companies, Cloud One and a few others, but Hilbert Communications is basically the parent or holding company of those various companies, including Bug Tussle.
Does everybody understand what this, maybe a little bit of background on this
Sure, certainly.
resolution, I think would be helpful.
The resolution in front of you is part of the application process. So Kewaunee County is intending with Bug Tussle to submit another Public Service Commission broadband expansion grant. The deadline for submittal is December 1st. Part of that application process or that application is a resolution approving the applying for the grant. So what is in front of you is just a resolution that the board is agreeing to apply for the grant. It does not require the county, if it's awarded a grant, to take it. It does not require or obligate the county to move forward with the project. The resolution is part of the application process and therefore is in front of the board to allow us to make the application. As for if we are awarded any grant funds, moving forward, we would need additional county board approval.
Right. So we're pursuing additional grant money. That's all this is saying. If additional grant money would come, well, then we would have to have a whole nother proposal and a very long conversation on what that proposal included and whether or not we wish to continue with it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Supervisor Teske.
On the second page of that resolution, project funding, it says 1,202,175 will Kewaunee County will contribute. I know where the 960 is coming from, but where is the rest coming from?
The 960 is from the previous public service grant award. This is a new application. So the new application would be to put fiber to those towers that are going to be constructed in the spring of 2021. So the laying of fiber to the towers is a two-phase project. This is phase A of that. And so the county match that we would be requesting from the PSC is 1.2 million. The county would be therefore putting forward the 1.2 million as well, which again, under similar terms with Bug Tussle, there would be an agreement that $1.2 million would be paid back. But again, I want to stress that what this resolution does is part of the application process. If we were to be awarded the $1.2 million from the Public Service Commission and the county did not feel they wanted to move forward with the project, we would not be required to move forward.
Right. So there's going to be grant money out there. And we're wanting to see if it's possible, if it's even a possibility to get some of it. If it should happen that we would receive grant money, well, then that's something we would have to then pass a resolution agreeing to the terms of it like we did last time. This is trying to get grant money. That's what we're wanting to go ahead with. And, you know, if there's free money out there, well, you know. Yes, sir.
Chairman, is this state money or federal money or?
This would be state money, correct? It would
Thank
be
you.
just like the last time, it would be state money. In the state, you know, we've had this conversation before, Supervisor Swaggle, and I wish the state wouldn't spend it in this manner and leave it to private enterprise, but the state's going to spend it. And if the state's going to spend money, my strong preference is that they spend it here in Kewaunee County. Supervisor Lukes.
How many dollars are in this round from the state?
I believe it's another 24 million, but we are unsure after this coming round for the December deadline, what the new funding level would be after this. So we know this one is 24 million. And so therefore that is why we are looking at what is that, about a 2.8, but the 1.2 million from the PSC.
Other questions? See no other questions. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next resolution.
A resolution for the 2021 budget and 2020 tax levy.
So this is to approve a budget.
Mr. Chairman, are you going to entertain discussion prior to a motion on the resolution, or?
Well,
what is-
I think
what
that
is
the
pleasure?
proper, I think that the proper would be that we would have a motion to adopt the budget as presented, and then there would be, if there would be a desire for amendments, then then amendments could be taken up one by one. Sorry, I did not explain what I desired procedure forward would be. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Supervisor Vollenweider moves to adopt the budget as presented. And then is there a second? Supervisor Baker. This time there could be amendments. Supervisor Wagner.
Before we make a decision on this, I would like to say that, history is a great teacher, but only if we listen to it, only if we take the time to learn from it. This county had a similar situation that I equate to back in 2014. At that time, because of the upheaval we had, we lost 5 department heads, a road superintendent, and a county administrator. The cost to replace those people was tremendous. The Sheriff's Department did a study back in 2010, 2011. What they did was they calculated the amount of money it takes to hire and get one employee in the Sheriff's Department up to speed. That number at that time was around $35,000. That has to be spent on every single sheriff's deputy every time they hire a new one. Today's price is probably closer to $45,000, maybe even more than that. Last year, we had a department head resign over the changes that were made to the pay plan. And we've not replaced that person yet. But I'm wondering what sort of inefficiencies our current county administrator is having because he's spending time doing that person's work and not doing county administrator work. The point I'm trying to make here is that the decisions that were made in the last couple of months concerning the pay levels for our employees, the additional funding was around $47,000. That's an awful small price to pay if we have another upheaval and have to replace a lot more employees because of what this board is going to do tonight.
Other discussion? Supervisor Ramden.
I have a few amendments if
Well,
I
we
can
take
do,
them
I
one
can
at a,
do, I can do one or,
well, they would need to be one at a time.
all right. The first one is, I'm going to propose is, it's in your budget on page 153. And it's the account 43,300, 429, 121. It's wages in the Human Services Department. This is a line item where there is a proposal to move from a contract employee to a full-time county employee. And I would like to move that we go back, we take this position out of the budget and go back to contracting that employee. That would result in $17,333 in savings.
Okay. We have a amendment. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Supervisor Vollenweider. Discussion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Opposed.
No.
Opposed.
Those that were opposed, please put your hands up for me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Motion carries. The amendment carries. The
Mr.
motion
Chair,
for the-
I'm going to
Yes.
need those names, so could you just,
Oh, yeah,
sorry.
Okay, those opposed, please put your hands, keep them up for the clerk until she signifies, indicates that she has them. Sorry, didn't mean to rush you.
So that was 4, correct? 4?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you need the names of those? Okay, you're good?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I ask that all these amendments be voted on by roll call vote.
Okay, we can do that going forward. You, Supervisor Ramden, you had an additional amendment you
I have
indicated?
3 other issues. One of them I think we took care of at finance and the GIS issue with the person that we were gonna temp pay while they're training, that's already taken care of?
The,
That is out of the budget.
Okay.
okay.
For that one. Okay, the next one I have a proposal on is on page 25 of your budget. It's account 51,430,162. It's the professional development account. Scott's proposing $30,000 for professional development. I have nothing against professional development. I think it's a good thing. Back in 2019 budget had $25,000 appropriated, and we spent 14,000 roughly dollars. And the balance was carried over into the 2020 budget. There was an additional 30,000 budgeted. We took that out as a board last time, and through various other amendments, managed to find 7,000 some odd dollars to go back into professional development. So starting the year, there was $17,381 in that account. To date, we've spent $3,400. Last year, we also asked that as this proceeded, if the board could get some updates as to how it's going. Is it beneficial? What are the employees thinking? And I'm just wondering, so we didn't spend the 25,000 in 2019. We didn't spend the 17,000 in 2020. I'm proposing that we eliminate that $30,000 that is proposed from the 2021 budget.
That's your motion.
I would
for
move to
amendment.
remove $30,000 from that line item.
Is there a second? Supervisor Peisler?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Finance Director.
I just want to update. 30,000 was the administrator's proposed in this list of adjustments that we have so far. That balance is now down to 24,500. I could find the specific entries if you're looking for them, but some of that has already been taken away to be used for other items.
So what did you say the number was?
24,500 is remaining.
Okay, I would amend my motion to the amount of $24,500 removed from the 2021 budget.
Support still stand?
Yes.
Okay. Is there further discussion on this amendment? Supervisor Yonke,
Is the amount so low this year because of COVID?
do we have an answer on that from either Mr. Felt or Mr. Cooney?
Certainly. The professional development was going to be focused mainly on the Human Services Department, doing continuous quality improvement and the like. But with the resignation of the Human Services Director and my assumption of that role, currently I've been focusing my efforts on a couple other areas within the department. Would I eventually like to return to the continuous quality improvement for the department? Absolutely, I would. Therefore, that is why I had the funding in there. If we don't go to it, we don't spend it, it goes right back to the general fund.
Other questions on this amendment? Seeing no further discussion, I'm going to go to a vote, and we'll have a roll call vote as requested. Oh.
Could you repeat, could you repeat the motion?
Yes. Can we get that? It is to remove the 24,500 on line 51,430,162 on page 25, correct?
Correct.
Okay, roll call vote on the amendment, please.
Augustine?
Aye.
Baker? Dell?
Aye.
Gillett?
Aye.
Askey? Yonke?
Nay.
Kennard?
Nay.
Kroll?
Aye.
Lizansky?
Nay.
Lucas,
Aye.
Massler,
Nay.
Olson,
Aye.
Hoppy,
Nay.
Didn't hear you, I don't think.
Heisler,
Aye.
Ramden,
Aye.
Swago,
Aye.
Teske,
Yes.
Bullenweider,
Nay.
Wagner,
Nay.
Wolkes.
Nay.
Nine yes, 11 no.
Motion, that amendment fails. Supervisor Rondon?
One more.
Yes.
Page 108. Kewaunee County Economic Development, line 55113601. About the middle of the page. There's a budget item, proposed budget, which would affect the levy of appropriating $40,000. I have no problem with the appropriation of the $40,000. I would like to see the money come out of the Economic Development Fund rather than the general tax levy. So I would move that the $40,000 for KCEDC come from the Economic Development Fund and be removed from the proposed budget.
Is there a second? Supervisor Lukes. And that's sometimes known as Dominion money. But call it what you will. Questions on that amendment? Discussion? Yes, Supervisor Dale.
How much money is in there?
In the Economic Development Fund?
Approximately, if you include the 2021 budget, currently there would be 1.7 million. You take the 960 out, eventually that would go to bug tussle. Let's call that 800,000.
And that's to be used as how many years?
We will still receive 6 more payments from, for 6 more years will we receive payments from Dominion Energy.
Supervisor Wagner, question?
No, just that, these microphones are in front of everybody for a reason, please. And with face masks on a lot of people, I'm sorry, but
I think it would be helpful if people would, when they're speaking, would pull their mask down. That is allowed.
And please speak into the microphone, please. I
understand.
Hopefully I'm getting new hearing aids next month.
2 to 3 inches away from the microphone, it will maximize the volume.
And turn up your volume on your hearing aid.
I can't. They're
Okay.
set at one level.
Is there any discussion of the motion of the amendment?
Can you please repeat that amendment?
Yeah, I would move that the $40,000 appropriated for Kewaunee County Economic Development Corporation be removed from the budget as a levy item and funded through the Economic Development Fund of the county.
Thank you.
Other discussion? Seeing none, we will proceed to a roll call vote.
Augustine,
Aye. Aye.
Baker,
Aye.
Dell,
Aye.
Gillett,
Aye.
Haskey,
Aye.
Yankee,
Aye.
Kinnard,
Aye.
Kroll,
Aye.
Lazansky,
Aye.
Lucas,
Aye.
Massler. Massler,
Wake up, John.
The band started.
The band started. They got some dancing at the Lawrence Welk Theater.
Saxophone must be.
Last time he had enough volume to make up for 10 resolutions. I guess he's gone now. Sorry, go ahead.
okay. Olson,
You can, okay, I'm sorry.
Well, we didn't mean
Keeps muting me.
Who muted you?
Frosted.
Your wife?
Every time I want to say something, it unmutes me, so.
Your wife muted you or what?
Yeah, she probably did. More than once.
Probably been wanting to do that for a lot of years. How do you vote on this amendment, John?
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Poppy,
Aye.
Heisler,
Aye.
Ramden,
Aye.
Swago,
Aye.
Teske,
Aye.
Bullenweider,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Wolkes.
Aye.
20 ayes.
I think the motion carries. All right. Further amendments or further discussion? You done, Supervisor Ramden? I
Yes,
guess
sir.
there's
I'm
no
finished.
limit.
I'm finished.
Okay, Supervisor Fullenwider.
If we could go back to the training,
Yes, sir.
$30,000 line item that we had,
Yes,
I would make a motion that we keep $12,000 in that line item for training.
so you're making a motion to,
It's
To-
currently at
and
$24,500.
your motion is to make it 12,000.
Yes, sir.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Poppy. Discussion. Supervisor Ramden.
So the original amendment was defeated.
Correct. The
So now
original,
there's a new motion on the floor. But instead of funding
The original-
24,500 in 2021,
the
it
original
would be
motion.
$12,000.
Yes, the
Okay.
original motion was to take the 24,500 out. That failed. So it remains at this point at 24,500. The current motion is that the 24,500 would be reduced to 12,000. Everybody understands that motion. And if you vote yes on this amendment, that means that that line will go from 24,500 to 12,000. If you vote no, it remains at 24,500. Sorry to, beat this to death, but with this number of amendments and, we kind of, there's a little bit of confusion. Discussion on that. No questions on that amendment. We will then proceed to a roll call vote.
Augustine,
Yes.
Baker,
No.
Dell,
Yes.
Gillett,
Yes.
Paskey,
No.
Yonke,
No.
Kinnard,
No.
Kroll,
Yes.
Luzansky,
Yes.
Lucas,
Yes.
Massler,
No. 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 Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
We got it the first time, Master.
That's two no's.
And you can
I
say
don't care.
times, but it only counts once.
I'd like to vote about 4 times then. Then I'm a Democrat,
This isn't Chicago, buddy. Open is yes.
Yes.
Heisler,
Yes.
Ramden,
Yes.
Swago,
Yes.
Teske,
Yes.
Bullenweider,
Aye.
Wagner,
No.
and Wolkes. 13 yes, 7 no.
Motion carries. Any other discussion on the budget that you have before you? Seeing no further discussion and no further amendments, I am going to move to,
I got a question. Okay, just for clarification, in previous years, we have 3,333, 12,500, and 40,000 that have been taken out of the expenses. Previous years, that's gone to capital improvement or some other place. So I can finish the entry. The net effect of this is 69,833 of what? Are we reducing the levy? Are we taking that money and putting it to a different fund? And which fund would that be? I think I lost you.
I have a question. Did we take, during the budget process this year, we've taken a lot of money out of the capital improvement account to fund other small portions of,
Yes, we
Other
started with
budgets?
about 62,000-ish in the book and we're down to 30,000 something.
would we not need an action by the board as to where that goes?
Yes, that's what I'm asking
Okay,
for. hoping
but we
for.
would go first to a vote on to approve the budget with the amendments. No?
No.
So I need a motion first to put that money to a fund.
Put it someplace or take it out of levy
Could
to do
we-
something with it. Otherwise, I have a one-legged journal entry
So
and it doesn't work well.
we could put it to capital improvement, or we could put it to debt relief, or we could put it to the levy.
Either one of those are good answers.
Any of those would work? Is there anybody that wishes to make a motion on this? So Supervisor
I would
Robinson?
make a motion that the $69,833 be used for capital improvements. Or be assigned to the capital improvement account.
Be assigned. Do we have a second? We do, from Supervisor Baker. So is there discussion on that? This is not a vote for the budget as a whole yet, but to take that balance, which you said was, what did you say that balance was again, sir? 69,000?
69,833.
And that would be moved to capital, we would put that to capital improvement. Is there discussion on that? Yes, sir, Supervisor Vollenweider.
So the question is, what project would that be earmarked for? If it's going to capital improvement fund, it's just going to be a fund reserve balance?
Yes.
Currently, yes.
Yes.
To be used in the future.
Other discussion, other questions? Yes, sir, Supervisor Swagel.
If we took it out, why would we just push it forward like that then? I
Push it forward. It would
took
go,
capital to use at a different time.
well, I'm
Didn't we
not
just
going to
take it
speak-
out?
I'm not going to speak for Supervisor Romden. Address your amendment, please.
We've been, over the last few years, we've been trying to develop or improve our position in our capital improvement account. And it seems anytime we have any budget issues within interdepartmental issues, the first place we look to get money from is the capital improvement account.
And what capital improvements, what specific things I think he's getting at would be potentially needed from the capital improvement account?
I can't name them specifically offhand, but if you look at the 5-year plan.
Mr. Felt can.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What we use the capital improvement fund for is, once we get it to a certain level, what we start to use that capital improvement fund for is to fund part of our capital improvement projects, whether that is equipment, whether that is improvement of buildings, any type of capital items. But what we're trying to do is set up a certain amount of fund balance that there would be a certain amount of money that would be used to, the best way to describe it is, let's say that we're typically budgeting $250,000 towards capital improvement items. But this year, with the need of additional equipment, it now goes up to $350,000. Well, then $100,000 would be taken out of that capital improvement fund to therefore pay for that extra $100,000 towards capital improvement items, but it doesn't therefore cause us to have to take to increase funds someplace else, and therefore we use the fund when we need a little additional money to begin with, and then we put money back in to when there are the good times. That's a lousy description, but
This would help us prepare for large expenditures, purchase of equipment, this sort of thing. And hopefully it wouldn't encourage us to make expenditures we don't need. Yes, sir.
that is, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
I think the question is, what if we just don't spend 69,833 and we don't have to levy that much? I think that was the question.
Is that the question?
That would be a better explanation. Thank you. Sure.
Okay.
If I could try to answer that, if I could, Supervisor Swagel. If there is a concern about the levy and therefore taxes for the taxpayer, I would suggest an alternative as opposed to just reducing the levy. And the reason why I say that is because right now, under the levy limit laws with state statute, if you reduce the levy under the limit, in the long term, you're hurting yourself. Why? Because over the years, you reduce the amount that you can then levy each year. If you're wanting to still have the same impact but not hurt your levy limit, it would be to transfer that money into the debt service fund, directly onto the tax bill, but does not hurt us in the long run regarding our levy limit. Am I making sense to
Excellent.
most folks?
Excellent.
Okay, so,
Okay.
so
That sounds-
if you desire to go that direction, there is a motion, we have a motion before us, you would have to defeat this motion, then bring another motion. Any other discussion? My only concern about putting it in the capital improvement, of course, is then, once gets to be a pile of money there, people start finding ways to spend it. I mean, we might start coming up with ideas, somebody might decide that we should replace the Cadillac that the county provides for the administrator a year earlier than normal.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir,
I'm thinking the
Supervisor.
Escalades are getting a little old.
Supervisor Romden.
I would be willing to withdraw my motion to put it to the capital improvement account.
So you're withdrawing your motion.
I would withdraw that motion.
Motion is withdrawn. Then do I have another motion? Supervisor, what? Am I Parliament? Oh, sorry, who seconded? Oh, no. Withdraw a second. Supervisor
I so
Swag.
move to move this to debt retirement then, sir.
Second.
Second from Romden. Now do I have discussion? Are you whining in there, Masteler? I hear you. Are you trying to speak or are you just, is that static? Okay.
Yeah, it must be static.
Okay. It sounded like your wife was talking to you. All right.
She was slapping me.
Yeah. Discussion on this. All right. Let's have a let's go to a vote. Do we need a roll call vote on this? We're okay with the voice. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, are there any more amendments or are we prepared to move to a vote on the budget with the already approved amendments? Fabulous. We are going to move and that will be a roll call vote. We will move to adoption of the budget.
Ready?
So we had the motion, we have the amendments, so the motion still stands to approve the budget with the amendments. That is correct, right, to corporate counsel? I'm good. All right, let's go.
Augustine?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Dell?
Aye.
Gillett?
Yes.
Haskey?
Yes.
Yonke?
Aye.
Kinnard?
No.
Kroll?
Yes.
Lizansky?
No.
Lucas?
Aye.
Masteler?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Poppy?
Yes.
Heisler?
Yes.
Romden?
Yes.
Swago?
No.
Teske?
Yes.
Wollenweider?
Aye.
Wagner?
No.
Wolkus?
Yes.
16 yes, 4 no.
Motion passes. We move on to communications, resolutions from there are no ordinances from previous board meeting. We move on to resolutions from other counties. Do we have some?
None.
Kewaunee County events, do we have some? Uneventful at the moment, huh? Okay. Chair comments, I have none at this time. We already have the next meeting dates. We have December 15th. Now that is the Christmas party. Do you have an update for us, Supervisor Teske? We would love to hear it.
Are you still going to have the meeting here? in December?
Absolutely,
Okay.
because I understand, I don't know if anybody has been checking headlines or knows what, if the governor is going to be, he was supposed to be speaking, if there'll be new restrictions, but he was addressing the fact that
There are no
cases-
new restrictions.
Cases are going up dramatically within the state, and I cannot imagine unless the county health director thinks differently, I cannot imagine that between now and our December 15th meeting that we are going to be in a much, much better place with this. It seems very unlikely, so I would say we're going to need to still be here, yes.
Okay, my nephew will cater it. Mo's from Royal Creek
Marvelous.
will cater it. And he did tell me there will be a cash bar. And he thought about 7 o'clock. Is that about right, to eat?
Well, we have 5:30 down as the meeting time. I think 7 o'clock. Does that work for everyone? I think 7 should
Usually
be
it was
good.
7:30, but then we had to travel.
Oh, 7:30 is far too late.
But
I'll
this
turn
time-
into a pumpkin by then.
But we'll be all here anyway, so
Yeah.
And-
7's good.
Okay.
7's good. Yeah.
everybody will be getting an
Yeah,
invitation.
we don't want to move that. We don't want to have we don't want this group having too much time at the cash bar anyway. You know.
Thank you, Chairman.
I heard the chairman was buying.
That's something you don't
I
hear
second
very
that
often.
motion.
Discussion.
We'll buy some drinks. Sure. Although maybe I should find out what he's setting the drink prices at first.
So everything is set.
So, okay. Any other details on that? What's the price on that and things?
It's going to be $13 a person, which will include tax and tip.
It includes tip?
Yep.
Wow, that is a bargain. Okay, so we'll need reservations to you by some
Yes, I
point
will,
or what?
when I send out the invitations, you'll be able to let me know.
Okay, fabulous. And it's, what's the menu?
I'm sorry?
Do you know the menu? Ribeye
Yes, it's
for
going to
13?
be, it'll be roasted chicken and mashed potatoes and everything that goes with them.
All right, fabulous. Sounds exciting. We'll look forward to the invitation. January 26th is already set, proposed February 16th at 6 o'clock. Do I have a motion? Supervisor Romden, second Supervisor Wagner. That works for everyone? All right, we will look for all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Aye.
Thank you.
You know, I can turn that TV off, Mastelier. So, motion to adjourn, Supervisor Wagner, second Supervisor Augustine, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Turn them off.